The progressive levels of project planning and management using Primavera P6 begin with Level 1, which involves planning without resources. In this stage, you create projects, define calendars, design breakdown structures, add activities with logic links, schedule tasks, apply constraints, analyze risks, and issue plans for team review. Moving on to Level 2, you focus on monitoring progress without resources. Here, you set baselines, track progress against them, and take corrective actions to address delays or deviations. Level 3 introduces scheduling with resources and costs. In this level, you incorporate resources, roles, and expenses for detailed scheduling, manage budgets, analyze resource usage, and optimize allocation for better project control. Finally, Level 4 is about monitoring and controlling resources. In this stage, you update schedules with actuals, track resource and cost performance, and use earned value techniques to ensure efficient project execution. This is the simplest mode of planning. This includes the following steps. To create a project, you need essential details such as EPAS node, OBS node, project ID, project name, start date, and rate type. Optional information includes client name, project location, project number, and stakeholders. Ensure each project has a unique ID and is assigned to a suitable EPAS and OBS node. Calendars model the working and non-working time for activities. There are 3 types of calendars: global, which can be assigned to any project or resource; project-specific, assigned to activities within a single project; and resource-specific, assigned to specific resources. Calendars can include public holidays, planned days off, and exceptions. PBS categorizes project activities for grouping and summarizing. When designing PBS, consider project phases such as design, procure, and install. Participating disciplines like civil, mechanical, and electrical, involved departments such as sales and procurement, work to be outsourced and contractors involved, and the number of sites or areas in the project. Define each activity clearly by outlining the scope, which includes what is included and excluded, the duration, which is the estimated time for completion, responsibility, indicating who will perform the activity, and deliverables, which are the expected outcomes. Avoid spanning activities over multiple reporting periods unless unavoidable, and use milestones to mark measurable completion points. Logic links define the sequence of activities, including mandatory dependencies, which are hard logic that cannot be altered, discretionary dependencies, which are soft logic that can be adjusted, and external dependencies, which are events outside the project that impact the schedule. Use the precedence diagramming method for creating logical relationships and maintain a closed network where each activity has a predecessor and successor, except for the start and finish milestones. Scheduling calculates the shortest project duration by aligning activities with relationships, constraints, and calendars. Identify the critical path, which is the sequence of activities that determines the project's completion time. Calculate total float, which is the time an activity can be delayed without delaying the project, and free float, which is the time an activity can be delayed without impacting successors. Project constraints control project start and finish dates, while activity constraints set specific start or finish conditions for activities, such as early start, which prevents activities from starting earlier than a set date, and late finish, which ensures activities finish by a set date. Identify risks during planning and develop mitigation strategies. Add contingent time for handling uncertainties using methods like inserting contingent activities, adjusting calendar non-work days, and increasing activity durations. Use layouts, filters, and formatting tools to customize activity displays and reports. Print and share project plans to communicate effectively with the team. Conduct a team review of the plan to optimize processes and methods, and gain consensus on logic, durations, and structures. Encourage frequent communication among team members to refine the schedule further. The baseline is the optimized and agreed-upon plan used to measure progress and monitor changes. Primavera records baseline dates for all activities, enabling comparison with actual progress throughout the project. The schedule should be updated regularly, using a specific date known as the data date, or update date, time now, or status date. This is the date progress is recorded, not the date the report is generated. For updates, we need information on completed activities, including the actual start date and actual finish date. For in-progress activities, we need the actual start date, percentage complete, and duration or expected finish date. For unstarted activities, we need revisions to activities that haven't started, new activities for scope changes, and updated logic to reflect changes in the plan. Progress is compared to baseline dates using visual tools, such as Gantt charts, or data columns, like baseline finish variance. When progress deviates from the baseline, corrective measures are needed to realign the project. Options include adjusting contingent time by reducing the allowance for contingencies, enabling activity overlap by assigning negative lag to allow successor activities to start before predecessors finish, and modifying relationships to allow parallel execution of activities. Activity duration reduction can involve increasing resource allocation in resourced schedules. We can also adjust working time by editing calendars to extend working hours or add extra working days, or simplify the project by reducing the scope and removing non-critical activities. Level 3 scheduling involves two modes: estimating and planning for control. In the estimating mode, you create a schedule with costs as an estimate, and it is not updated after creation. Activities may include many resources for detailed cost estimation. In the planning for control mode, you assign actual units, such as hours and costs, to resources to calculate completion and perform earned value analysis. It's advisable to use minimal resources per activity to simplify updates. When balancing activities and resources, there are key considerations to keep in mind. For large projects, avoid assigning too many resources to activities, as this complicates updates. Instead, use general resource categories like skills, trades, crews, or teams for simplicity. Minimizing the number of resources in schedules that require regular updates can save time and effort. Creating and using resources involves establishing a resource pool in a hierarchical table and assigning the required resources to activities. It's important to define cost rates for resources to analyze costs, compare options, such as supplementing resources versus extending deadlines, and calculate time-phased cash flows. Roles represent skills, trades, or job descriptions and are organized hierarchically, holding proficiency levels. They can be assigned to activities during the planning phase and replaced later by specific resources. From Primavera version 5.0, roles can have associated rates. The relationship between resources and roles is significant. Roles represent job titles or skills and are associated with resources. For example, a resource, such as an employee, with multiple skills may be assigned multiple roles, like clerical assistant and data entry. Roles are typically used for long-term planning, while resources, such as trades, crews, or equipment, are used for more detailed scheduling. Activities have types and duration types that impact how resources are calculated and modeled to reflect real-world scenarios. Primavera allows for top-down budgeting at the EPA's node level for summary-level financial planning. Budgets can be compared to detailed estimates derived from resource assignments. Resource usage profiles and tables are tools for displaying and analyzing project resource requirements. The data is available in both tables and graphs and can be exported to Excel or reported for deeper analysis and presentation. To optimize resources, several methods can be employed. One method is to smooth peaks by distributing resource demands evenly across the project. Another is to limit resources by matching resource requirements to availability. Cash flow alignment involves adjusting resource demand to align with available financing. Leveling is the process of delaying activities until resources become available, and multiple methods are available for delaying activities and leveling schedules. Level 4: Monitoring and controlling a resourced schedule. Monitoring projects with resources involves default calculation where Primavera P6 calculates actual and remaining resource units and costs based on the activity's remaining duration. Additionally, manual data entry allows you to input actual costs and units recorded from timesheet systems and accounting systems. Data collection requirements include to-date information, which refers to quantities and costs already spent per activity for each resource, and to-complete information, which indicates quantities and costs needed to complete each activity for each resource. When updating a resource schedule, it's important to update the schedule with collected data and review the updated schedule for future resource requirements, project end date, and cash flow projections. It is recommended that updating a resource schedule, which is complex and time-consuming, should be performed by experienced users or novices under expert guidance. Controlling a project with resources requires performing in-depth analysis using the available data after updating. Utilize earned value performance measurement techniques to evaluate schedule performance, cost performance, and resource utilization efficiency.